You do it without noticing. Standing in line, waiting for coffee, sitting on the toilet at 2 a.m. You reach for it, the glowing rectangle. 96 times a day on average. You didn't decide to. Nobody asked you. But every human with a smartphone does it. Same reach, same swipe. Same little hit of nothing much. Which is weird because we don't do this with anything else. Not our silverware, not our shoes, not our house keys. Just this one specific slab of glass. So what's going on? Why does your brain treat a 5-inch screen like it's the most important object in the room? Here's the short version. Your brain runs on a schedule called variable ratio reinforcement. Sometimes you check the phone and get a text from someone you love. Sometimes you get nothing. Sometimes you get a coupon for a mattress. The reward's unpredictable, and unpredictable rewards hit harder than predictable ones. That's it. That's the whole trick. But the story gets weirder. Wolfram Schultz figured this out in 1997, watching monkeys wait for juice. He wired up dopamine neurons in their brains and expected the neurons to fire when the juice arrived. They didn't. They fired earlier. The second a light flashed saying juice was coming. The reward wasn't the reward. The anticipation was. He called it reward prediction error. And when Schultz made the juice unpredictable, the neurons went completely feral. Reliable juice, quiet neurons. Random juice, fireworks. The dopamine system doesn't care about pleasure. It cares about maybe. Your phone is a light flashing, saying juice is coming. Sometimes there's juice. Sometimes there's a Chase Bank alert. Your neurons don't know the difference and honestly don't care. B.F. Skinner ran the same experiment on pigeons back in 1957 in a book called Schedules of Reinforcement. Press a lever, get a pellet, but only sometimes. The pigeons pressed the lever until they collapsed. He called it the variable ratio reinforcement schedule. Casinos read the paper. Slot machines are Skinner boxes with better lighting. Pull the arm, sometimes cherries, usually nothing. Occasionally, a jackpot. The math is identical to the pigeon. Then, somewhere around 2008, app designers read the same paper. Pull down on your inbox. Sometimes new mail. Usually the same 3 unread promos. Occasionally something from your ex. Same lever, same pigeon. Cool. Mystery solved. Except the pigeon didn't have a lever in his pocket that also worked as his alarm clock, his wallet, and his flashlight. And here's where it gets stupid. The gesture, where you swipe down and the little wheel spins, that was invented in 2009 by a guy named Loren Brichter for a Twitter app called Tweetie. He called it pull to refresh. He wasn't trying to hijack your nervous system. He was solving a UI problem. How to refresh without a button. Twitter bought Tweetie, kept the gesture, and within 3 years, every app on Earth had one. Pull down, wheel spins. Maybe new content? Maybe the same 8 tweets you already saw. Brichter has since said he regrets it. Red notification badges are the same trick, borrowed from military radar. Red means unresolved. Your brain, apparently a 5th grader, cannot let a red circle sit there. So you tap, and the badge disappears. And you feel, briefly, like you accomplished something. Asurion ran the numbers in 2019. The average American touched their phone 96 times a day back then. Once every 10 minutes, you're awake. By 2022, they redid it and got 352. That's not a typo. The heavy users, a research firm called Dscout, put trackers on 94 people back in 2016. Average user, 2,617 taps per day. The top 10%? 5,427. That's a tap every 10 seconds of every waking hour. Common Sense Media asked American teenagers in 2016 how they felt about their phones. Half said they felt addicted. Not attached. Addicted, their word. And these are people who've never known a world without one. They're not comparing it to anything. They just know the phone owns some percentage of their brain, and they can't name which percentage. So you delete Instagram. 2 weeks later, it's back. Or you swap it for Reddit. Or you buy one of those grayscale mode filters that turns your phone the color of a wet sidewalk, and for 3 days you feel like a monk, and then you turn it off. This is the part nobody wants to hear. The loop isn't on your phone. The loop is in your head, and the phone is just the closest, cheapest, most reliable slot machine your brain can reach. Delete the app and your thumb still twitches toward the empty square where the icon used to be. You catch yourself unlocking the phone for no reason, staring at the home screen, and locking it again. That is a person pulling a lever that isn't there. Nir Eyal, who literally wrote the book on how to build these things, it's called Hooked 2014, mapped it out as trigger, action, reward, investment. He named it the hook model. Once your brain has run the loop a few thousand times, it doesn't need the app. It needs the loop. The phone is a symptom. Your dopamine system is the disease. Sorry. Which raises a different, dumber question. Casinos are the most regulated psychological trap on Earth. Every slot machine in Nevada has a legally required return-to-player number posted somewhere. You can look it up on the manufacturer's spec sheet or the state gaming board's website. Anyone can. It is public. You know the odds. You know the house takes about 8% and gives back 92%. That's a fair fight compared to your For You page. TikTok has no RTP. The feed doesn't end. There's no cash out. A blackjack table in Vegas gives you more information than the app on your bedside table. And Vegas is what we consider unsafe. Here's the thing. Every generation has its glowing rectangle. Radio, TV, the refrigerator light your grandma checked at midnight. But those things sat still. They stayed in the room you left them in. This one comes with you. Into the elevator, into the bathroom, into bed. You fall asleep holding it. You wake up reaching for it before your eyes are open. Somewhere between 2007 and now, we quietly agreed that the most important object in the room is a 5-inch slab of glass that mostly shows us ads for socks. Schultz's monkeys got juice. Skinner's pigeons got pellets. We get a Chase Bank alert and a text from Mom. And we check 96 times a day to make sure it's still there. Don't think about that too hard.